So yesterday, Dan and I had the immense pleasure of FaceTiming with our niece and nephew who just went back to school. Our niece is actually just starting preschool for the first time, and our nephew is now in first grade. And that made me think that there are a lot of adults out there that have sent their children back to school, and they may be looking for some reading recommendations. So let me give you all a few. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? Happy Monday. I hope that your guys' work week started fantastic. Today's video was really inspired by my niece and nephew who FaceTimed Dan and I this weekend to tell us about their first week of school, which is one of the things we absolutely love to do with our nieces and nephews. We're very close to all of them. And it really actually inspired me because I realized that there were a lot of parents out there, a lot of guardians, a lot of aunts, uncles, a lot of people who have a lot of children who return to school and may actually be looking for a reading recommendation now that they have probably a teeny bit more time, not a ton, because being a parent is a ton of work all the time, but maybe they'll try to slip in a book for themselves. So I thought I would give you guys a recommendation of 6 very different books that you may want to try to sneak in now that your kids are back in school. So and they are very, very different, trying to get you guys all across the gamut, but all of them are definitely worth your time. So as I always say, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you get hold of your TBR. Let's do it. And as always, if you can order these from your local independent bookstore, let's do that, or request them for your library, or have your library request a copy if they don't already have one already. So if you are looking to read a debut novel that I think is an excellent example of what has come out in 2019, I'm highly going to recommend In West Mills by Douscher Charles Winslow. This is the story of 2 people. The first is Knopf. She's a woman an independent woman who lives by herself and sort of lives a rough and very party type lifestyle. And the whole town sort of knows this about her. She has a man who is in love with her, but wants her to sort of settle down so that they can get married, and that's not who she is. And at the very, very beginning of the book, we find out that she is pregnant and she is going to wind up giving that child away to someone in the town. And it's sort of even makes her go even further down this life of excess. The other main character in this book is her best friend. Let me remember his name, Otis Lee. Otis Lee lives next door with his wife and his young child, and he has a very sisterly, brotherly relationship with Knopf and is always there to protect her. And this story kind of goes through forward in time through their lives and their lives together, and as Knopf's children who are now in the community are growing up. We sort of get that whole community dynamic. And it's really about coming to terms with your own sense of responsibility and allowing yourself that time to realize when something's not right for you, making a decision and having to live with it, and then how things change as time goes on. It is a stunningly written, beautiful debut about 2 people, their relationship, not only between each other, but also their relationship within the community which they live. And that is In West Mills by Douscher Charles Winslow. And all of these books, you guys, are out now so that you can get your hands on them. So none of them are coming out in the future. The next book that I'm going to tell you about is something if you want something fun and totally off base, something you probably never thought you were going to pick up, and that's coming from my friends over at Quirk Books, and that is Much Ado About Mean Girls by Doescher. This is a retelling of Much Ado About Nothing with the cast of Mean Girls, the movie, which happens to be my husband's favorite movie of all time. So it's very, very prevalent in my life still to this day. But this is just a fun, gimmicky, hilarious retelling of Much Ado About Nothing. I flipped open to it today when I was planning this video, and I was cracking up at some of the puns that he puts in there. It is just a lot of fun. It's not a hard read, it's a fast read, but it is just an enjoyable read. If you are just looking, you've just sent your kids back to school and you are ready for that breath and you are ready to laugh, that is Much Ado About Mean Girls by Ian Doescher, out from Quirk Books. Now, everybody knows that it's getting sort of fallish. The wintry, rainy sort of darkness is coming. So maybe you need a mystery. And for that, I'm going to recommend Speaking of Summer by Kalisha Buckhanon. And this is out from, oh my gosh, I totally am blinking. That's so funny. Counterpoint Books. I don't know why. I wanted to say Catapult because Catapult and Counterpoint are connected. And in my head, this is from Counterpoint. This is the story of Autumn and her twin sister Summer. One night in the winter, Summer goes up onto the roof of the building and disappears. And all we know is that there are footsteps out to the edge of the building, but there are no footsteps back. There are no footsteps. She didn't jump. Her body's not down below. There's no other footsteps. So there's no indication of where Summer has gone. So Autumn goes on to want to investigate the disappearance of her sister. And as she is doing that, and she's sort of trying to get the police involved in this disappearance, she finds out that there are a lot of disappearances in her community of young women who have gone missing, and there's been no sort of search for them. And she starts to sort of connect all of that from not only for the loss of her sister, but also from a societal angle, and this idea of the care of when these young women disappear, these young Black women. And yeah, so there you go. And you also have that aspect of a sister just wanting to know what happened to her twin sister. And that is, you know, a poignant family dynamic to also the mystery aspect of this book. So that is Speaking of Summer by Kalisha Buckhanon, and this is out from Counterpoint. Sorry about that. Now, if you're looking for sort of one of those historical / modern books, you know how there are those books that have one part is set in the modern world and then one part is also set in historical, and they come sort of combining together. For that, I'm going to recommend The Weight of a Piano by Cander, and this is out from Knopf. And this is really about a piano. So there's two sort of stories here. One is in 1962 in the Soviet Union. We have a young girl who is given a piano, and it will then become sort of the love of her life. She loves this piano so much. And she winds up losing the piano. She has to wind up giving the piano away. That is one story. That is one arc. The other is set in the 2012s, I think, in Bakersfield, California, so just down the way from me, where a young woman, 26-year-old young woman, I believe, 26, Clair, she sort of loses everything, but what she will not lose is a gift from her father, which happens to be a piano. And this is going to be the story of how all of that interconnects and how this object, this producer of music and this thing of beauty, how it connects and is part of these two lives. In the Soviet Union, there's an immigration story going on, and then there's also in the 2012s of a young woman trying to figure out what path she wants to take in life. And so that is The Weight of a Piano by Cander, and this is out from Knopf. And isn't this just a beautiful cover? And my friend Anne over at Anne Kingman, who works for Random House, raves about that book and really told me that it is so fantastic. And if Anne tells you to read something, I'm telling you right now, you guys, you should read it. Let's say you want to go completely a different direction in a book I've mentioned a couple times on my channel, and that is Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton. And this is your zombie tale, but told from the point of view of the animals that have to deal with all of the people turning into zombies. One of the main characters is a crow named ST. I'm not going to tell you what that's short for, but we get in the very first chapter, that is the first animal that sort of recognizes the zombiness of his owner, and you sort of get a perspective. The next chapter is then narrated by a dog who is used to a very certain type of lifestyle. And there's a sense of humor to this zombie tale. So zombie tales have been done, but this is a new and unique and fun, just sort of escapist, perfect for September, October, that type of thing. So that is Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton, and that is out from Grand Central Publishing. Last but not least, You've had a crazy summer with your family, your children are back in school, and you're like, I'm gonna take a deep breath. You know what I wanna do? I wanna read a book about a family that is just crazy and be thankful by how normal my family is. And that is The Most Fun We Ever Had by Clair Lombardo. This is out from DoubleDay. This is the story of a family. There are 4 daughters, and they are so absolutely different. And they are all sort of always living in aspiration of the relationship that their parents have, and always sort of inspired to do that. And what this book is about sort of is that all of those connections. What we find out is that one of the daughters, when she was just out of college, had a baby that she had to give up. And one of the other sisters, much later in life, after the mother is married with her own family, children, has found this boy who is now in search of a home, and sort of brings this grandchild, this nephew, this son back into the family dynamic, and what that does to the 4 sisters, the mother, the grandmother, the grandfather, and all of that. And what this book does is it sort of goes between all of the sisters, giving you different perspectives, and it also goes back in time and sort of tells you the relationship of the parents as well. And this book is full of people that are sometimes difficult to like. And so you will really be just sucked into a fantastic family drama, but also learn a lot about how people love each other and how that changes through time, and all of sort of that family dynamic as well. Now, this is a chunkster, so you're going to need some time to sit down with this one, but it is definitely worth your time. And that's The Most Fun We Ever Had by Clair Lombardo. Oh, it's blurred by Rebecca Mackay, so that's even better. And that's out from DoubleDay. So let me see if I can get these into a nice pile and hold them up for you guys. This is 6 recommendations. All of your children, they've returned back to school, and you're looking for a little bit more time just for yourself to read a good book. I have 6 very different books here, but all of them that will make you happy to have a moment to yourself. As always, if you are a return subscriber, I thank you so very, very much. If you are new to my channel, I hope one of these books winds up on your TBR. As always, I encourage you to shop locally, read globally. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.